Hi there. Welcome to this introduction to procurement and supply chain management. We will discuss a few aspects of this book to see whether it fits your needs. But first, let's get acquainted and let's introduce us as authors. Frank.
Hello, Frank Rosemeyer. It's now about 25 years ago since I met Arjan van Welen, who introduced me to the field of procurement. And since then, I share a great passion for procurement. Today, I'm working as a professor at Maastricht University and combine that with working as a consultant and an executive trainer.
Okay, I have the same background, although I started a few years earlier than Frank. I was a professor in procurement at Eindhoven University of Technology on a part-time basis, and the other time I spent in my laboratory, which was the real business practice, procurement practice. And in that way, I have always been able to combine theory and practice, which is at the core of this book. And let's now start to explain a few aspects of our book. We want to show what it takes to professionalize procurement, to bring more value to organizations and to society. Today, most of what companies do is outsourced. It is outsourced or purchased from suppliers. Suppliers today represent the biggest part of industrial companies, but also service organizations. And that means that they rely for a large part on outside organizations, suppliers, to deliver their own products and services to their customers. And the question then is, how do you really manage those relationships in such a way that the customers of our organization are served best? And the same is true for the government. So the government also has outsourced today in many Western economies most of what they used to do themselves. And another objective that we have is to offer a contemporary text for universities so that the book helps them to teach procurement at the right professional level.
One of the first things that shows on the cover of the book is that we changed the title from Purchasing and Supply Chain Management into Procurement and Supply Chain Management. Why did we do that? Well, first of all, we changed the term to bring it more in line with contemporary thinking and doing. The first book that we published together in 1996 was called Revolution in Purchasing. And at that time, purchasing was the most commonly used brand label for our profession, both in practice but also in academia. But over the past decades, things have changed significantly, and many CPOs rebranded their functions, their departments, from purchasing into procurement departments. So it's more commonly used. Next, in line with the intentions of our book, procurement is also a more elaborate and broader concept than purchasing, which is mainly focused on acquiring goods and services at the best possible conditions. Now, procurement brings a more strategic perspective, a more supply chain perspective, and involves processes like category sourcing, supply relationship management, supply chain risk mappings, value, total cost of ownership. It's about how to get access to the more strategic resources through closer supplier relationships. In the book, we elaborate on these processes and explain what basic conditions need to be in place to make them work.
Another thing that we would like to discuss is what is special about the 8th edition. What is new? There are quite a few new things. First, we introduced a totally new chapter on innovation sourcing. That is, how to source the best possible ideas and creativity from your suppliers. Suppliers do not automatically do that. They need to be challenged to do that. And it requires a great deal of trust and relationship development before suppliers willingly embark on your innovation processes. A second chapter is on supplier relations management. That is, what types of suppliers do you have? How can you segment suppliers, and how to develop different types of relationships with those suppliers? How to do that. The third chapter that we totally reviewed was responsible procurement. How to build sustainable supply chains that are meeting the highest ethical standards. There are scores of companies that suffer from a bad reputation because they do business with suppliers and countries that do not pay respect to the minimal, working and labor conditions. And we show what reputation damage can stem from unresponsible sourcing practices. A fourth aspect, which we included in this version only and was not present in the previous version, is that we introduce 10 different theoretical perspectives. Because the type of theory that you use to manage procurement makes all the difference. So we present 10 different theoretical perspectives that can help you solve, business problems and procurement problems. And finally, what's new, you may expect that from us, is that we have, of course, renewed, the case study examples that we use and the practical examples. So yes, you will see examples of what the pandemic and COVID virus did to the international supply chains and how some companies were able to cope with it and some not. So this I think makes the book a really contemporary book today.
Now, what differentiates this book from other competing textbooks, you would ask? Well, the first things that come to my mind is that it combines both our knowledge and experience, which makes it unique. How you look to the world determines what you see, and both Arjan and myself, we have our own way of looking at procurement, which is based upon our academic research in combination with our practical experience as consultants and trainers for many different organizations around the world. We have been able to personally test most of the concepts that we work with, that we introduce in our book, test them in practice, see how procurement managers, strategic buyers, sourcing managers react to these concepts, these models, and also test whether it brings some value to them, right? And in the book, of course, we include only those models and theories that we have seen are valuable for practitioners in procurement. Nothing is more practical than a good theory, as long as the theory is derived from good practice. And that's what we practiced in the past 25 years.
So if you got the impression from this video that we have worked both on this book with great pleasure, this is a right assumption. It has deepened our knowledge, because if you have to write things down, you have to become very precise. Now, if you are a business manager and you have a procurement organization in your company, I hope that this book will help you to be a better counterpart to your procurement professionals. If you are a procurement professional, I hope that this book will help you in perhaps introducing some new concepts that you may be able to use and improve your practice. And if you are a student, I really hope that you're going to take this procurement course or procurement and supply chain management course at your university, and that you are going to consider procurement perhaps as a career.
Thank you very much. Enjoy reading the book.
Yes. Good luck. Bye-bye.
Bye.